Welcome back. I know it's been a while, but I've been very busy finishing up my first term of business school, completing finals, and the first week of B term. So A term was very intense, very academically rigorous. However, I'm happy that it's over with. Um, Finals week was something. So I had 5 final examinations from Monday through Friday. They all began at 9. They were in the mornings from like 9 until 12:30. Most of them were about 3.5 hours. One of them I think was about 4 to 5. So yeah, very intense. I needed every bit of those time. Initially going into the process, I was wondering, well, why do we have so much time? Like, what could you possibly be asking us? I definitely saw. So surprisingly, I was not, surprisingly, I was able to utilize all the time, but it was interesting. It was interesting how when you're under that, I guess, kind of stress, how fast time goes by. So yeah, I'm so happy that it's over with. We're into term B, which is supposed to be better, but so far, honestly, it is a lot also. This core curriculum is quite something. It is so much work. In terms of homework, there's always something to do. There's 5 things due every day, and I'm not making that up. Literally, every day there's 5, or at least 3 to 4. It's so much work. The classes are going so fast. There's so much material. So that's one thing I did learn from the first term. I think initially I started off, I was like, okay, this is not so bad. I understand what's going on. And in like the middle of the term 6 weeks, by the way. So by like week 4, I would say I started to get a little lost. And I think I didn't have a lot of time before finals. And then that's towards the end where I just like try to teach myself the material. And it was just too much. It was just way too much material. I remember being in the library for hours. Oh, I'm going to do all this studying. I was on one subject, financial accounting. And then it was tough. So you have to know to manage your time. Even managing your time is just so much work. I mean, they're giving you more work than you can handle for a reason. So that was that. So I think for me, that's the biggest struggle, the workload. It is a lot. And I feel personally, I know everyone come to business schools for different things. My goal was not to do a lot of homework. Not to say that I didn't want to do homework or I didn't expect. I knew it was going to be a lot, but I came to business school to recruit and to pivot. So the fact that I spend so much time doing homework, and that's something maybe I need to figure out in terms of this is why I came to business school and I need to do that rather than be so boggled down with the academics. Yes, I did come to learn, but also too, I did come to get a job, and I need to shift my focus because I really need to start recruiting, and recruiting for my industry will pick up in the next few weeks. So just kind of prioritizing that and not feeling like I need to just devote myself totally to academics. But despite that, I am learning a lot. Like, definitely learn so many things. There's moments where I am perpetually confused, but then there's moments where I'm like, okay, look at me, finance girly. Ooh, would have ever thought? I was a social science person, political science, global affairs. Did not like any math, did not like any quantitative material at all. Didn't take a lot of quantitative classes. So the fact that I'm even in business school, that's quite something for me still. So, I just try to give myself grace and slowly, little by little, and don't wait until finals week to, oh my God, I don't get it. So that's something I've learned from the last term, and because concepts do build upon each other. So, and one of the best advice a professor gave us was not to try to build on ambiguity. Like, it's not going to work because these concepts build on top of each other. So that was that. So otherwise, I'm doing pretty well. I know a lot of people ask me, even my classmates are like, how is it having a family in business school and everything? Honestly, the toughest part is business school. That is the toughest part. Just because my daughter is 7, she's not a new baby. I've been doing this routine for a while. We've lived all over. We've moved out of state. We've moved back to New York. We've done this for a while. Like, again, I know what works for us. I know what doesn't work for us. So, she goes to school. That doesn't change. She goes to after school. That doesn't change. She has her extracurricular activities. So she has her schedule and, she's busy. So she always has some place to be. And actually, it works out for me at times because I know even when she is at ballet classes or stuff, I sit and I just do my homework. So that helps me manage my time instead of wasting or swim lessons when she's in the pool. I'm reading my case. So that actually forces me to manage my time a little better. It's just Jeremy and I pretty much. I have luckily lately, I've been able to leverage my dad, which is amazing. But that's probably going to be short lived because he's retired and he wants to move back to Guyana. So yeah, but that has been tough. The childcare aspect of things, I know I spoke earlier on that. You know, it's just Jeremy and I for the most part, here and there. If we need to, we might bring someone in to, you know, fill the gaps. But obviously, I'm not working. I'm not going to be working for the next almost 2 years, pretty much. So that's something, balance in finance. And I understand the economy is tough. This is some very tough economic times. But overall, I would say it's been a little challenging because obviously I knew I wanted to go to business school for the past 3 years. It's something that I've worked towards financially. It's something, you know, I was never a big spender. I've always been a budget person. Yes, I might do a lot of shopping, but these are all sales, clearance, discount deals. I do not spend money frivolously. I've always been like that. I know. So that's something that I've prepared myself for. However, I feel like you can never fully prepared. I have one friend who's a second year, and I remember her saying it costs us $1,000 to sneeze in business school, and it does. It is quite expensive in terms of, you know, the social aspect with it, going out for drinks, hanging out after this, that, the trips, and, you know, obviously with me, certain things I might have to leverage childcare. So, you know, for me to go somewhere and do something, it has to be worth my while. So that's been tough. And obviously we're in such a high inflationary period where I think, yes, inflation is real. I understand that. I understand the cost of living. Trust me, I've experienced all of that. I've had to make so much adjustment, but it is difficult right now because everyone is kind of like raising their prices, raising their fees for everything. And it is tough because I think I'm at the point where most people, where their prices have surpassed my willingness to pay. And I think for that reason, I've had to kind of like pull back on a lot of things, even like, you know, quite frankly, getting my hair braided. Braiding prices are crazy these days, crazy. And every 6 months, someone's sending out an email, oh, because of the economy, I've had to increase my prices. And I'm like, I understand, trust me, I do. However, just because you're increasing your prices does not mean that I have the capacity to pay you more or that I've gotten a raise or an adjustment. And I think that was so frustrating for me. And that's one of the reasons quite frankly, I'm in business school now, because previously in my, I just felt like I was not progressing and I was not getting the raises and the bonuses and stuff as I would like. And I felt like the cost of living was just flying. And I just felt, I didn't feel, as a matter of fact, I experienced where, quite frankly, I think sometimes, especially when you stayed at a company for a long time, and I was with this company for nearly 5 years, your salary is not increasing to catch up to the cost of living adjustment and increases. So that was one thing. And especially now that I'm not working, obviously I do feel that. And I do understand. I am not a proponent of paying people below their value, what they're worth, or what they think they command, because I know what that feel like. I've lived that life. I've experienced that. It's not a pleasant experience. So I understand that. However, at the same time, sometimes things do come off as, like, I'll be honest, a money grab. I think sometimes people, you know, they come to your home, they see you live in a certain area, they hear you go to a certain school, and they think you're big money, and they're like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And honestly, like, I've had to pull back from that. I'm not making this up, true story. I remember telling Jeremy about this, and he didn't believe me. He was like, let me see the proof, because it was just so outlandish. I had someone come and tell me, oh, $70 an hour. I was like, yeah, okay, not happening. So, you know, those things have been challenging, but, you know, it's part of it. It's part of the process. Will I try to get a job at some point? We'll see. Initially, I thought, okay, first semester definitely cannot work. Know that was not happening. Maybe the second semester, but I honestly just feel like this core curriculum, has taken so much out of me, or it just takes so much. I want to enjoy being in business school. I want to enjoy going to my dream school. I want to enjoy it. So I don't want to stress myself out and be stretched too thin, and all of that would work. So I think the second semester, that's off. Maybe my second year, I might get something part-time, but it has to be something very part-time and not demanding, something that I really enjoy. I personally, it is my opinion that I have the rest of my life to work and work very hard and work at these high performing, demanding jobs. So for these next year and a half or more, I want to enjoy being in business school. I want to learn. I want to enjoy my classmates. I have amazing classmates from all walks of life. Like, I meet people and I'm like, wow, you did this. It's so interesting. I wouldn't get into those details to kind of protect people's identities, but I want to enjoy that. I want to enjoy the network. I want to enjoy, maybe I'll get an inspiration to start a business. So I just want to enjoy this time and not be stressed out about working. Yes, finances is very important. However, going into this, I knew I would have had to make certain sacrifices. I knew I would have to go without. And I'm totally fine doing that. So, because I know the long-term goal, the long-term vision. So that's been the main thing. In terms of what's next, we do go on fall break next week, which is so excited. I am so ready. I'm so tired. I'm actually just excited to have a few days to myself. I find this first semester is you're in classes so much. Like, I am in classes literally Monday through Friday from 9 to 5:40. Maybe not exactly that, but I do have breaks in between, which is great because I usually do homework. Listen, my friends, they know I'm the phone booth queen. We have 4 phone booths, 4, for about 1,600 students. And it's amazing that everyone is always like, how do you always get it? You can't reserve it. It's just by chance. I go to school at 9 a.m. By 9 a.m., I'm in those. So usually from 9 to, I guess, 10:30, I'm locked in every day. Sometimes I think, Monday, Wednesdays, I do have class at 9 a.m. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't. I have class at 10:50. But I still, because I have to drop my daughter off, I just end up going on campus and, using it to catch up on work. So I'm usually always locked in. At 9 a.m. to like 9:45, they're usually empty. But after that, it's so hard to try to get those phone booths, because as soon as someone jumps out, someone jumps in. It's madness. So that does work in my favor. And I think, yes, also sometimes I do get out of class at 3:50, but still it's like you're jammed up from almost like 9 a.m. up until 4 p.m. or almost 6 p.m. So that doesn't give you a lot of time to do other things besides schoolwork, to go to appointments, get my hair done, do other things that I need to do. So that is the adjustment, and I'm looking forward to taking my electives next semester, where I will probably be able to pick my schedule, because I was not able to do that this term. They automatically enroll you in your core curriculum. And I still have a core class that we have to take during the spring. So yeah, that's also a full-term course that is going to be late. So yes, I do look forward to that. As I said, I don't mind the 9 a.m. classes. I have to be up. I have to take my daughter to school. It's not like I can sleep in. So the earlier, the better for me. I'll do a 9 a.m. class, be finished by noon or 9, and then another one. Or even being finished at lunchtime, which is great, or 3:50. But the 5:40 one, that's really tough for me to go from like 10:50 to, because it's like so focused. You have to be so focused. You're learning, actively participating. So yes, I do look forward to having greater flexibility. I would say not having classes on Fridays is a relief. However, so much homework, you need to be productive on Fridays. Like, I'm always in the library on the Fridays now, because yeah, if you try to take Friday off, you're going to be very unhappy on Sunday. And today is Sunday, and I'm very unhappy because there's so much work to be done. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do first. It's so much. So I think just managing your time and being cognizant of that. And also Fridays is when they have the review sessions, which I have tried. I can't say I'm a review session person. The review sessions are from like 9 a.m. So each class, they have review sessions, but it can feel like you're in class again, because it's like you have 4 review sessions. So you could easily be there from 9 up until 350. So it's a lot. And I think I do better studying on my own and my own speed. I have worked with a tutor, so obviously through school. Those have been helpful when you can lock them down. So yeah, so that's mostly what's going on. I am looking forward to Christmas. Um, yeah, I am looking forward to a little bit of a break, but I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. I do the absolute most, so I'm looking forward to a mental break. But besides the academics, I am having a lot of fun. Like, I love my classmates. They're amazing. They're phenomenal. You know, there's a lot of times I bring my daughter on campus after school, not for classes per se, but if for whatever reason I need to be on campus late I remember during finals, the week before finals, we had review sessions. I did post a reel of me just bringing her on campus for that. And everyone's always enamored. Everyone wants to play with her, wants to talk to her, or like people come up to me and be like, "How's your daughter doing?" And every day, or even when they see me out, because I guess they're shocked that I'm still, I still try to have a social life. And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's good to see you. Where's Reagan?" Like, Reagan's safe. She's with her dad. She's fine. Or she's with my dad. She is fine. Like, my dad's picking her up. Everyone's like, "It's late. It's after school. Where's your daughter?" I'm like, my dad's picking her up. That's her person. Like, she is fine. I am like number 3 in this girl's life. It's her dad, my dad, she loves men. So she's all for her grandfathers and then me. So I do think that makes it a lot more easier. There are a lot of families at Columbia. A lot of people have young children, I would say. Like, Reagan is 7, and there's a lot of people with toddlers, pregnant, newborns, young babies. So, it is a family-friendly environment. Maybe not so much as like Duke with the Fuqua Fridays and the events, but in terms of the community, there's always children on campus from time to time. At the business school, I would say, not the main campus more so. So, but that's it. I think that's a good update. I think I've blabbed for a very long time. So yeah, I will try to make more